us women, especially in Nepal, to think of doing something outside the box and outside of what you actually studied. So today we're going to talk about some of the challenges and opportunities of being female entrepreneurs in Nepal, and we have a bunch of female entrepreneurs and aspiring female entrepreneurs here on the table, and we have various women from different fields, so probably we should go with the introduction first. Hello everyone, I'm Prativa Pandey. My background is chemistry and management, and right now I'm trying to do science entrepreneurship by incorporating research in industry.
My name is Marita Schultze. I'm the chairwoman of the World Innovations Forum. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I started 4 companies together with my husband, 1 on my own. And I have 4 kids.
Hi, I'm Smriti Panta. I come from a very interdisciplinary background, starting with agriculture science, then gender and development, and now tourism management. And I'm a co-founder of Samriddhi Agriculture Research and Development Private Limited, which mainly works on agriculture and tourism sector in Europe.
Hello everyone, I am Sumina Karki, founder and CEO of Prava. Prava is a biotech company, totally women-led, and it focuses on food, medical and environment sector in Nepal.
Hello, my name is Sunnie Joshi, and I have a PhD in applied and computational mathematics, and currently I'm working as a data scientist at the World Bank, and my goal is to start a data science consulting firm here in Nepal, which is I'm in the process of doing that.
Hi, my name is Dovan Rai. I did my PhD in education technology. I am executive member of Nami Research Institute and founder of Pana Collective.
Now in the global arena, we see a lot of unconventional entrepreneurs who studied one thing and then are doing something else in entrepreneurship area to express their creativity or their passion. Any of you who have like education in one sector but have interest in another sector?
Actually, I did my PhD in computer science, but I'm very passionate about everything handicraft. So that's why after I finished my PhD and I came back to Nepal, actually I co-founded an e-commerce company to sell handicrafts from Nepal so that I can vicariously enjoy that craft.
That's interesting. PhD in one thing, but then handicraft, you would think very unconventional. So when we think about challenges for a female entrepreneur as a Nepali woman, what is that one word or one or two word that actually you can think of when you think of challenges for female entrepreneurs in Nepal?
It's mostly 2, social and economic. The social barriers, if your family is not supportive, you can't do anything. And I'm unmarried as well, there is the plus point. But I always have to think how I will get the next family, because I can continue my entrepreneurship. And next is economic, because I could have chosen a stable job, but I choose to be an entrepreneur, and it's an ups and down, and even I don't have any money at some time, so I have to think about it a lot.
Actually, I want to add one more dimension to that. It's psychological. It's very interpersonal. The way we are raised, we are asked not to take risk and to conform to the social norms as we grow up. So being an entrepreneur is like taking risk, setting a new boundary for yourself, exploring outside your family, and doing whatever unconventional things in life. So self-confidence to break those barriers, I think that's the starting point for all of us to even imagine or dream to become an entrepreneur. And this is, I think, the self-confidence thing is, it applies to urban women, it applies to rural women, it applies to women in America, it applies to women all over the world.
Great.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. So we covered 3 topics: economic, and then societal and psychological oppressions that we have within, which comes from our background and how we were raised, right? So talking about that, and you talked about, fortunately I am not married, right? And fortunately I am married. So what do you think about bringing men on the table and letting them understand what we're going through? Do you think that's going to help, and how is it going to help?
I think that's very important to make men understand what we're going through in terms of our emotions and also, work-wise. And that will, I think, help them support us more wisely, because that's very important when you're running your own business.
Also the mothers who are raising today their child, their boys, their sons. Yeah, I think it's very important also if we address and try to reach out to them, and make them aware. So it's really starting without changing gender education or gender raising kids, but giving them the understanding how important it is to have their sons more open and more supportive for women, because they are the ones who are putting the kids, the children, into social directions.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, in Facebook, we do discuss this kind of issues.
Yeah.
Like we have a cohort of friends who are raising sons of similar age. So one of my friend posted that her son wants blue toys and do not want pink toys. So those are some of the differences that boys tend to internalize as they grow up. So, just trying to challenge those differences that we cultivate within us through age. I think that's one of the very strong and very effective way of defining masculinity and femininity.
Absolutely.
I think one thing is your identity and being able to take risk, and a lot of that is involved around the third point, where how are we raised, right? So we're talking in this discussion, and it helps immensely to have this similar group of people talking about your challenges, successes, and failures, right? It always helps, because entrepreneurship in itself is a lonely journey.
Yeah,
and when you're a female, it becomes even more lonelier. And when you add the home chores, you get tired and lonely, right? So does it help to have a community of female entrepreneurs and aspiring entrepreneurs, and how can that help us boost that, confidence?
I think, getting together, sharing the problems, it has not be every Monday at 3 o'clock, but there should be one space or one board or group in Facebook where said, hey guys, I'm stuck, I don't know how to solve that, So helping hands and exchange and be open, I think this is something, in a community like this, which has really great female entrepreneurs, but we all need the help from each other, helping hands, for all obstacles. Some don't like bookkeeping, needs the help on the professional side, and someone else needs someone taking care of the kids. So if there is a community, it takes a community to raise also not only a child, but a complete ecosystem.
Yeah, adding on to that, we need that continuous mentee-mentor relationship, a very engaged conversation, because she's way ahead, on her journey to entrepreneurship. Some of us are starting. Although she's young, she has come afar. So we are in different stages of entrepreneurship. So sharing that experiences will make us feel that, okay, I'm not alone in this journey. Right. And those ups and downs are very common part of this
and
experience.
you've been through this too.
And you have been through this. And also discussing what strategies could work within this patriarchal societies. How have you coped up this kind of relationship with investors or with the government and with the market itself? I think that would be a very lively platform and very helpful to all of us as well.
Yeah, yesterday I remember Dovan talking about having just one more woman in the organization. She feels like a completely different person, and she gets that energy and vibe, right?
Yes.
So
and also, to add that, it's a kind of reassurance. Entrepreneur as a trailblazer. So when you have this community where you can talk, I talked about this, I talked about, I use this approach, and they reassure you, and that reassurance alone is a huge thing.
Yeah,
absolutely. In the boardroom with the directors, we are often in our institution 3 or 4 women within a group of 15, but then having that 3 women, it's empowering in itself and reassuring in itself. whether we accept it or not, because of our life experiences, we see things from a different perspective, or somewhat a different perspective.
Oh, absolutely.
So whenever there is a project on the table, we tend to add perspective from our reflecting on our own life experiences. But then we need reassurance because of our lack of confidence in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
When the society is made up of both men and women, and especially 51% women in Nepal, the boardroom has to be similar too.
Absolutely,
Right?
yeah.
Any of you can ask about her experience and where she comes from and all of that, so that we can all be inspired. You want to go?
Yeah, I want to ask you, because you are here from few days and you have seen so much of people and met so many women entrepreneurs and scientists and everything. There is always a question that, because we are raised in a society that says that you can't do anything, but we are capable, we know that. But how is it compared to Silicon Valley? Are we supposed to create our own Silicon Valley in Nepal?
First of all, I have to say, between what I learned and what you are doing and how you present your companies and so on, there is no difference to Silicon Valley. The difference I see in Silicon Valley is, we always say, we hire an engineer, no matter what gender. So gender, it's still a little issue, but not such a big issue like I found, for example, here. I saw the same issues in Vietnam, I saw the same issues in South Korea, but at the end of the day, I have to say I saw more power women here than I saw in Silicon Valley. Yeah, especially, if I focus on engineering and science and so on. So the power I saw mostly in Silicon Valley was on the marketing, and on the business side, I learned a lot about science and technology women here in Nepal.
That's good to know that Nepali women are also in forefront of something, right?
Oh,
Which
absolutely.
is technology.
Yeah.
You wouldn't think from inside or from outside. Now going into the real action field, there are few startups by female, not too many. We talked about less than 10% or maybe even less than 1%, right?
Yeah.
So what is that factor, do you think, is holding back female entrepreneurs-led startups in Nepal?
But from my experience is that one is fluctuating market, another thing is the politics. Because we know, we have experience in that research field. We will give you 100% assurance for that product, But the thing is that when it goes to the market, then the market has total changed, because the people are changing.
So you mean the market demand changes really fast, especially in your field, which is biotechnology, right? But as a female, do you think you have any disadvantage over men, not from your internal side, but from the market side in terms of perception?
Yeah, obviously, because when I go to sell, then it's a perception that if a male goes, then they blindly believes that whether that product is 100%
functional or
not, but they will buy that because it's product of the men. But
okay, so they take it at face value, versus for you have to prove and explain more.
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to add on, women, we feel that we already have so much responsibilities or so many things in our plate. In terms of time, we are so bound to explore information, what is available out there, and to make network as a daughter, as a mother, as a wife, and a daughter-in-law. So we feel that workload is so much on us that sometimes it's hard for us to find time to get out of that space and think something new or creative.
So for Nepal's context, it is a bit more different in terms of workload, I'm understanding, because the societal expectation of women in terms of being present in the social gathering, being there longer than men, and actually being actively involved is a lot more. Is that what another thing you're saying?
And we have so many festivals and all, and of course
female have to be
actively involved.
Physically
Yeah. Okay.
And then if a man is not present in that gathering, then it's considerable. He's busy and he is busy with his work. But if a woman is not representing, then they will say, okay, why is she not there? Is she not conforming to this invitation? Or so it's what you can say that the community role is also
On either side of the family, right?
yes, on either, and we have two families.
We have two families.
So
When it comes to responsibility, but not in terms of economics. Yeah.
Yeah, I think to that, like why we have like few female entrepreneurs in Nepal or even in the worldwide, I think we really need to change this like collective narrative about what a good leader looks like or what a competent leader looks like, because we kind of celebrate all this aggressive behavior to the point of being a jerk. So when a woman wants to be a competent leader, she has to get out of her default tone and to become something like that. It's a lot of internal pressure, because we really read about this like a Theranos thing where Elizabeth Holmes had to change her voice to take it to lower the pitch and all
Think
that.
about what you wear, how you put your hair on.
And also like this is like as long as this mold of this default mold of competence and leadership is based on male, a typical male attribute, we are always catching up, and I think we need to change that.
Right.
okay, in that sense, I think some really good female role model entrepreneurs are also coming up. Like I see you as a role model for myself.
Thank you. I'm trying. Really
And then
trying.
there are others, few more. So having that role model, I think that's really changes that perception of what to expect from a leader or from an entrepreneur.
I think it's a lot about how do we as female entrepreneurs can be us, not someone else, show our uniqueness and still be accepted as leaders, right? Because not just too aggressive or you're saying acting up or too incompetent, right?
I just want to add one more. When Barack Obama he cries in front of media, there was a narrative of what a leadership should be, like showing the emotions, being a leader. And when Thailand's prime minister, woman prime minister, she cried in front of media, the whole media presented that phenomena as not being
typical woman,
strong. So this kind of media has, I think, a big role to play in shaping people's perception of what leadership looks like, and how we can have different versions of leadership depending on your personality within that gender spectrum of femininity and masculinity.
That's awesome.
That's very good.
Accept it or not, the current reality of Nepal is that it's a male-dominated society. So we know that there is a lot of power in men's hand, and we have a lot of men around us. So if it is dominated by men and they have power, what are some of the practical ways of leveraging that power so that we can move forward with them? How can they support us? Can you give us some examples of how it has helped in your life, having a male counterpart who's helping you, sometimes taking a back seat instead of you taking a back seat?
Our company, we co-founded with men, of course, and women. So in our case, whenever we go to have a meeting with investors, potential investors, he takes me with him.
So your husband is the co-founder, right?
Yes, and he's also leading the company. So he takes me with him to have a meeting with the investors, and we balance my other role or our other role of taking care of our kid together. And when he takes us to the meeting, he wants the investors to take me seriously as well. So he starts with introducing me as co-founder of the company and director of planning and outreach, so that whatever I say and whatever ideas I put forward on the table is taken seriously by the other part as well. That's one strategy. I think that has really worked in our case. And also when I work in my workplace, when we have a meeting in the boardroom with the directors, when the director introduces me in my position and gives emphasis to what I have proposed, then the whole environment changes, and then all the people starts taking you seriously.
That's great.
So I'm a scientist and my husband is a businessman, and we think very, very differently. But at the same time, he's very supportive of me starting my own thing. He's always encouraging me, pushing me to start my own company. If it weren't for him, I don't think I would have even thought about.
Yes.
So we talked about two women who are married. What are some of the things did you want to say some things? Because I know as an unmarried woman, expressing and being out there in the evening, and things like that. What are some of those things that you've sort of faced in terms of challenges, and how have you used the power of men around you who have helped you to overcome some of those issues?
Yeah, actually in that case I'm very lucky that I have got so much support. My father also comes from biker generations. Still he has some mindset that okay, I'm an entrepreneur, but still he thinks that I should get a stable job. Yeah, but my brother and I am raised in such a situation, my mother, that he said that come on, she's an entrepreneur, no, we should be supporting. Then obviously he is my brother, he's younger, but it's his voice that
So
that
he
my
has
parents
some
has,
power
yeah,
in the family.
convince.
Mm.
Yeah, that's really supportive.
Yeah, male voices
Yeah.
matter. And
We,
when
we
it
can
comes
be
for the
mad about
support,
it, but
yeah.
until this is changed,
Yeah.
this is the way
Yeah.
to, I guess,
the way
leverage their power and be empowered
Yeah.
ourselves.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So this question is along the same line to Marita, where you co-founded so many companies with your husband, and we were talking about men being that figure, and then women are not taken seriously. What were some of the strategies you took so that you were taken seriously as well, not just as his wife, but as a partner in business as well as not just real life? Right?
Okay, so in this case, I think I know my weakness, yeah. So I'm not that eloquent like Axel in front of an audience. So this stage is his, yeah. When it comes in regards of, really discuss business issues or team issues, yeah. So we sit together and discuss about that. I share my opinion. So I'm not really that outgoing person, which is, I don't feel bad
Just
with that.
you, right?
It's just me. But at the end, I really, I look it from the bird's eye, yeah, and can see obstacles perhaps in another way. And it's for sure after 4 companies, you are used to work as a team.
Right.
So my strength is more, in the background and try to overlook the whole company. He is very, we go this way, and he always asks, do you think it's the right way? But his ideas are so out of the normal, and we achieved with 4 companies very big success. So I don't question that, yeah.
Right.
So, but I keep his role always, we separate totally in the business, yeah. So I had a great luxury. I had another name till some years ago, so people didn't know we are a couple, yeah. So which was, I have to say, for me a little bit helpful, because in this case it's not, oh, that's his wife.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
it's not that okay. He brought her with her because it's her wife. No, he brought me with him because I have this and this competence. Yeah,
Yeah.
so the
Got
different name was a little bit advantage, but I don't feel bad today. I have the same name.
If each of you can say one thing which is like an action step you're going to do, like a pledge that you're going to do after going outside of this room, what would that be?
For me, this is one of my agenda, that I want to not feminize the workspace. So I want to talk about emotions. I want to use very emotional language, because in the professional world we are supposed to be very rational and only talk about objective. We are not supposed to talk about emotions. But for me, it's just like it's also again sensitizing the men, changing the workplace, and also making other women feel more comfortable. Hey, if you are feeling uncomfortable, you can just talk about that, or yeah.
Great.
I would say counseling the young generation, and of course self-counseling, like reassuring yourself that you can do this, even like we get some setbacks as we go along this journey. But since I'm also in the education sector, what we are trying to do is cultivate that out-of-box thinking within our young women and also men. So that is something that I'm doing, and I would look forward to doing that more.
I would share more about emotions, about our personal feeling with the guys, with the men, because I think if we don't share, they are totally clueless and think, why is she acting like this, like a diva today? Yeah. So do not like to divide. I want to combine. That would be my pledge.
Right, and something along the line, I do want to have more he's for she's, so that I will be talking about different issues that women, like a voice, so that I can talk to other men, and I can sort of help them think about, empathize on how women feel in workspace or at home, so that they can support as well.
I will think a lot about social outreach in female entrepreneurship, because I think there's a lot of women who want to do something, but they're set back, they don't know how to start, so I want to maybe talk to them, or as a group talk to them, help them start something of their own. I think that's very important, and like you mentioned, like a Facebook group or just a meetup would be very helpful, not just for us but for people who are just thinking about starting something.
I want to pass confidence as well as support, because if I can do business, then they probably can, because I have learned from a researcher to a businesswoman, so probably that.
Today's discussion was really helpful and empowering. I already have goosebumps. We talked about female entrepreneurs, how female entrepreneurs can grow in a given ecosystem, and how that ecosystem can be built so that it is fruitful for not just the women but also the whole society, which also means bringing in men to our conversation. And we also talked about different styles of leadership in this spectrum of female to men, and we talked about how men and women should not necessarily compete but complement each other in terms of strengths and weaknesses. So with that, since I have goosebumps and I'm getting a lot of energy, we're gonna hold our hands and end this program so that we feel this community of female, and we also took some pledges, and we are determined to go out there and fulfill our duties as female entrepreneurs and leaders, I would say. I'd like to thank you so much, and let's take this journey forward.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
In solidarity.
Solidarity.
When you put in so fast.